a strict diet like that, there's so much guilt every time,
Yes.
even no matter
You're
how
in a
much,
prison.
no
You're in
matter
a
how
prison.
well you eat, no matter how much you exercise, you're just constantly, every time you go to a plate of food, you feel like, I felt like a servant of like this brain that it just doesn't give you the best quality of life that you can have.
It doesn't. And then after like going through so much stuff that I did, I realized the quality of life that I want isn't in dieting and extreme exercising. It's just being happy. And so when I have a negative thought like that come into my head, I go back, like I said, I go back to my values. Like, is this what I believe in myself? Is this
Yeah.
going to help me tomorrow? And sometimes, you know, there's a thing about body affirmations that like I used to tell people to do all the time. I used to be like, tell yourself you're beautiful and that you love yourself. And like, reality is you don't always feel that way. So
Yeah.
if you can look at yourself in the mirror and just be like, you know what? Like, because I still sometimes struggle with body dysmorphia. And
Same.
when I look in the mirror, if I can just go, I'm grateful
Mm.
for the body that's gotten me through every day of my life, no matter what I've put it through. I'm grateful for the health and strength that I have today. That helps me be grounded in my body, and it stops those negative body image thoughts. So like, I think it's just a matter of, yeah, just asking yourself, what are your values and how can you be the most authentic to yourself? Because most of the time, those negative thoughts aren't aligning with who you want to be.
And I think that it's so hard when someone gives you advice of like, you know, look every day into the mirror and tell yourself you're beautiful, you're 3 times. It's like you can say those kind of things out loud, but you still feel that feeling in your heart and your gut where you don't believe it. And it's just not realistic and it's actually not
Yes.
helpful.
And when that's a perfect example of inauthenticity not helping you. And that's why I stopped telling people to do that, because I was like, you know what, if you can't look at yourself and say I'm beautiful, that's fine. Just look at
Yeah.
yourself and be like, I'm grateful for the strength that I have.
And then look at
Yeah.
yourself and say one thing about yourself that you know to be true. And it's like,
Yeah.
I'm a really good person. And if you can look at yourself and go, instead, I'm someone that always puts others before myself. And sometimes that hurts me and sometimes that helps me, but it's a quality that I don't want to change because I really love it about myself. And yesterday, Dr. Amen was talking to us about understanding what we can change and understanding and accepting the things that we can't change and being cool with that. You know, there's a part of my quality of being that just, you know, my dad was this way, my mom was this way. Instinctually, I put others before myself a lot of the time, and it can hurt me a lot of the time, but it's really something that also helps me in so many ways, like doing this live series in times of trouble, or like it just works in my life so much more that I don't want to work on getting rid of it. I want to train it and contain it. Train it and contain it. You'll hear that all week. But I really do. I want to like know how to use that as a. I actually, when I got my throat surgery last year, I always had this like really crazy like growl in my voice. My voice always been really low. And it used to be something that wasn't an option. No matter what, my voice was growly and dirty and, you know, rough. But now from taking more training, now I know how to use that when I want it, but also know how to like protect myself and place my voice in different spaces of my throat that won't have that gritty sound that I love, but it actually protects me in long run. But when it's worth it, when I'm doing Zeppelin or Floyd or Metallica, I go and I grab that as a tool. If we can have things about ourselves that aren't always optimum for our best being, but they are useful at times, learning how to train them to use them when they're helpful and get rid of them when they're not anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Just training. And then so 2 more things about dedicating time, even just 15 minutes to learning something new a day. What is something that you always wanted to learn now that you'll have more downtime? Well, you said you wanted to get more creative, or what's something that you've learned in the past year that's like weird?
Something I've learned in the past year.
When did you learn how to knit? Like, how long ago did you learn how to knit?
Almost 10 years ago.
10 years ago?
Almost 10 years ago. I learned when I was 18. And I was obsessed. I knitted all the time. And so I think one thing that I'm gonna do is relearn, because I always forget, and then it gets cold outside and I'm like, wait, I need to look at that YouTube video.
Yeah.
And so then I like relearn, and then I'm off to the
YouTube
races.
is life with that kind of thing.
Yes.
And then the very last thing is S for sharing, which sharing is caring. And would you share something special with everyone that's watching? A lot of them are like my fans, but like I see a shit ton of your fans also on here. So what is something that you would think is important for them to hear, or just that you love them, or positive thoughts for them? What's something that you'd like to tell your fans?
Something I would love to tell my fans, I think it's so important for anybody that is dealt with body image or anything like that, that right now when we're home with our mirrors and things like that, it's so important not to get consumed in negative self-talk. And this goes for anybody, whether you've dealt with body image or not. You know, we're confined into these spaces. We're going to see the same mirrors every day. We're going to have some of these same negative thoughts. It's important not to beat ourselves up over getting nervous, over maybe not, eating perfectly, not working out perfectly. Like, these are different, very scary times, and we've never been through anything like this in our lives. So this is all new to everyone, and it's okay. Be gentle with yourself and just take care of yourself as much as possible.
Okay, I just heard you so loud and clear, because last night I was totally doing that. I realized usually I would not have the time that I had to like stand in front of my mirror and pick myself apart and be like,
Yes.
okay, I did really take down those 4 pints of the ice cream, and I really did cook that frozen pizza, and I didn't go outside because it's been raining, and I just sat and looked at myself, and instead of seeing myself or my body, I saw all the choices that I wasn't happy with. So I look at my arm and I'm like, I see that I didn't do my, push-ups today, or I just looked at myself and saw all the things that I didn't do, or the mistakes that I made, instead of looking at myself and saying like, hey, like, I'm the person that started a series that in dark times want to bring light to people. I'm the person that practiced guitar today, which I really want to get better at. So by tour, I'm like shredding on the guitar. I did all these amazing things today. And instead of looking at my hands and thinking about the notes I played on the piano or the song I wrote, I thought about all the mistakes or all the things that I did that I didn't like, or all my choices that I wasn't proud of. And it was just some bullshit. And I'm knocking that shit off.
Yes. Good.
No more.
Good.
No
more.
So I wanted to ask if you noticed that you had 150,000 new streams on your song, I Love You today, because that would be me. So I just I'm going to play it before we go, and we're just going to sign off, and I'm just obsessed with it.
Oh, thank you.
This has started since the morning, like early this morning.
You're so sweet.
I love you so much. Thank you so much.
I love you
Oh,
too.
you're gonna
FaceTime
crack
me
up. I don't know how to
anytime.
flip my camera, but look, I was learning all the words.
Thank you.
I love you. Thank you.
Love you.
Listen to I Love Me, because it's the best song ever.
Bye.